You know that one friend who always says maybe next time? But next time never comes. At first, you think they're just busy, but then you notice a pattern. They're not avoiding you. They're managing something deeper. Every brain has a stimulation level. Some people need more noise to feel alive. Others get drained by too much stimulation. For them, socializing is not energizing, it's processing. Even fun conversations use mental energy. That's why home feels different. It's not just a place. It's a reset system. Outside, your brain is constantly scanning. Inside, that system turns off. This is called cognitive load. At home, the weight disappears. That's why silence feels powerful. Not empty, just peaceful. Psychologists call this optimal arousal. Every brain has a sweet spot. Too little becomes boredom. Too much becomes stress. Home sits in the middle zone. That's why routines feel comforting. Same coffee, same couch, same peace. Familiarity reduces mental effort. Less effort means more recovery, and recovery is not laziness. Some people don't stay home because they're tired, but because home gives them control. Out there, life is unpredictable. Plans change. People change. At home, nothing surprises you. For sensitive nervous systems, that matters because unpredictability creates mental tension. Even small social interactions require energy. Home removes those demands instantly. That's why home feels like safety. But there's another layer. Some people experience social anxiety. For them, leaving home requires effort. Not physical effort, but emotional effort. That changes everything. Because now, home becomes protection, but also limitation. So the real question is important. Do you stay home because it restores you, or because leaving feels too heavy? One is preference. The other is avoidance. They look similar from the outside, but feel completely different inside. True homebodies find joy in rituals, small, predictable moments. These rituals create emotional stability, not excitement, but regulation. And regulation is what the brain actually craves. People assume staying home means nothing is happening, but the brain is still extremely active. It just shifts inward. This is where creativity often appears. Not in chaos, but in stillness. That's why many creators prefer solitude, because attention is not divided. It becomes deep instead of scattered. But there's a misunderstanding. Loneliness is pain. Solitude is choice. They are not the same thing. One drains you. The other restores you. People who love staying home often build rich inner worlds, not empty space, but active imagination systems. They replay conversations. They imagine future scenarios. They simulate outcomes. This is internal processing at a deep level. It's not boredom. It's cognitive engagement. Modern life overstimulates attention. So, home becomes a filter, a space where input is controlled and output is self-generated. That's why some people feel more themselves at home, because there's no performance layer. Modern life constantly pulls attention outward. Every notification is a micro-interruption, and over time, that creates mental fatigue. Not physical tiredness, but attention exhaustion. That's why home feels like relief. It removes decision pressure, no social calibration, no performance adjustment, just psychological baseline. But there's another hidden factor. Dopamine responds differently to environments. Outside gives spikes. Home gives stability. Spikes feel exciting, but they also drain faster. Stability feels calmer and lasts longer. This creates a preference pattern, not consciously, but neurologically. That's why some people avoid social overload, not because they dislike people, but because their system reaches saturation faster. At home, emotional regulation resets. Stress hormones decrease. The nervous system slows down, and the body enters recovery mode. This is why home becomes identity linked. It becomes the place where the brain feels safe to be itself. But for many people, home isn't just comfort. It becomes identity, because it's the only place where no one is watching. No pressure to perform. No need to explain yourself. Just existence. And for some brains, that is rare. Because the world is always asking for something. More energy, more attention, more personality. But home gives none of that. That's why it feels like restoration. Not excitement, but relief. People often misunderstand this as avoidance, but it's actually regulation, a way to reset the nervous system so they can function better outside. This is not weakness, it is adaptation. Every personality is a response to an environment, and some environments reward silence, reflection, depth, and stillness. So, if you love staying home, you are not missing life. You are experiencing it differently. And sometimes, the quietest lives carry the deepest understanding of it.